Hi everyone in Team Momentum, and welcome to this adding your customer base to your Google Map. Right, so most people have Excel spreadsheet, which is what this is, and there's a few things that people might not have selected. For example, I've added customer number. Okay. Now, this customer numbers will be used on the Google Maps later, and it will actually allow you to see each customer as a number, which will make it easier for selecting. Obviously, the next we have house number, and then we have streets. We then have areas. For example, I live in Crawley. We have areas like Bewbush and Pound Hill and stuff like that, and then we have the town that you're in. Okay, after that you've obviously this isn't an actual proper database. This is just made up for this tuition. You've then got postcodes, okay, and then you've got the title names, as in the person's first name. Obviously I've put my details in here, so there we go, and my phone numbers, which you'll have for your customers for ringing to let them know that you'll be delivering their parcels at certain times. The next thing that you possibly won't have on your database is your week 1, week 2, week 3, 4 and 5, depending on whether you're working on a 4-week rota or a 5-week rota for doing your customers. But that can be really interesting for putting that information onto the database. Now, also expect most people then have your period 1, 2, 3, 4, and what people are actually the amounts that people are actually spending with you. Gives you a tally of how much you're selling each period, but we can also apply that to the map. So here we are over in Google. Most people have a Google account with with Gmail and stuff like that. You're going to see over here that when you log into Google, you're actually going to have your profile picture. Okay, so that's going to prove that you're actually logged in. Now we can then go over to your apps. You click that little button, and then you're going to be able to, you've got Google Maps there, and your Gmail accounts and all that kind of stuff. But obviously we're going to go up into Google Maps. So when you click and open Google Maps, and here we have Google Maps. Okay. Now, you're going to want to go to the 3 bars, and you want to go to My Places. You click in My Places, and you're then going to want to go up to where it says Maps, and you can then, at the bottom, you see there, that's where you've got existing maps. Now go to the bottom, you create maps. Now once this loads up, this is where we're going to be able to actually insert your database. So I'm just waiting for, there we go. So you're going to go into insert, and we click that, and that's where we're now going to be able to insert your database. Now you can see where it says drag, and you've got the file names. What we're going to need to do is, I'm using the CSV files. So what we're going to need to do is actually make sure that your file has been saved as a CSV or one of those other formats. So if we get the file, what we're going to do is I'm going to duplicate the existing file. There we go, click duplicate. We're going to just work on one, so we don't want to muck up what you've done as a database. So I like to duplicate it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open that up, and once that's opened up, I'm then going to go to Save As. And once it's opened up for Save As, we'll be able to see that you've actually got a selection of the formats that it can be saved in. Just wait for this to pop up. Here we go. And as I click on that, you'll be able to see that it comes up, and you'll be able to see, there we go, that's the one we want. Okay, so I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to save it. I like to save things to my desktop whilst I'm working on them. I'm just going to call it copy to so that I know which one it's on. So I'm going to click back into Google, and there we go. So I can now literally just drag and drop the file into Google. Okay, right, so this is the area where we input the house, the street, area and town, and this is where it's going to take the information to add the pins to the map. We then click continue, and then on this one, this is where I'm just going to add the customer number. And then click finish. It's now going to import all the data, and there you can see it's added the pins to our places. Now, what I do know about this is that the data that I've put in there is made up data, and it's made up houses. So some of them actually haven't shown, and some of them they've actually put the pins in exactly the same place, because Google obviously knows whether it's a real place or whether it's a made up place, and I've just made up this as a demo. But you can still see that we have some pins, which is really good. So it's showing now. Obviously, when you put your real data in, each one's going to show up properly. And now we can actually then move on to some of the other things that you can actually do, and some of the data that you can add in and show on the pins that will be helpful to you, including actually being able to add a route. Okay, so here we can actually see that you've got the different areas, and it can be really helpful if you know if you want to plan the most effective route. Let's say, for example, over a period of months, you've built up these customers, and you didn't necessarily have them all on there at the same time. You wanted to work out a route that's most effective for you to walk to save you time. So as we go up the top here, you can see we can actually select to create a route. Now this is where I used to live, so if I had have come out of there and turned left, this would have been my first drop, and this would have been the route that I would have gone. So I can click from the first customer, and then we're going to go up to the second customer, we're going to third one. Now as you can see at the moment, it's not going in the direct roads, so we can just click to each customer, and we can actually adjust that afterwards to actually take the route via the road or via the route, if you know there's a footpath or something where you want to go, presuming you're on foot. Obviously you can also do this completely by the roads if you're going by car, and you can work the whole route out from there. Right, now I'm going to speed this next bit up, and I'll do this manually, and we will come back to this already done. It'll just take a bit of time. Okay, so here's some if you go down to this button here, you can see the source data from the database that we've actually uploaded into Google, and this is all the data that we're going to use for these next bits. So depending on what data you actually put into your database to what you can actually categorize on the map. So if we click on here, you can actually see that we can change the colors of the icons for the places depending on what categories we've added in, and this can be really good, especially when it comes around to the different periods, period 1, 2, 3 and 4, and including the values that we've been putting in for those areas as well. We can also, as you can see on the map, we can actually add the customer number. So referring to the different customer numbers, you can actually go back and click on your number, and you can actually then, if you write the numbers down on your route that you've planned out, you can actually go back and write down on a sheet so you actually know exactly which one you're going to if you want to, or you can basically just do it off of your phone as well. That's the other thing. It does help to have the names written down. But here you can see, depending on the period that we've chosen, we can also categorize it by the money. Now I think it was it 4? No, I think it's period 3 had lots of people in it. So you can see there's lots of price ranges in there, and that's all in period 3, and you can actually see there the different values of who's kind of spent what kind of amount, and that can all be done to do with what area, what period that was actually in. You can actually see that you've got a grayed out area as well, and the grayed out ones there are ones that aren't in that period. So you can see that we're only actually showing the ones in that period, and for some people that could be some very interesting data. Imagine if you were doing this, you could actually see that there was an area that you've missed out in a certain period. You could, depending on the colours and the selection of it, you could actually show on here that you've got a very profitable area. Now the other thing is, if you've got a customer base, not a customer base, a customer drop to do, you can see that we can actually just mark the ones that are due to be dropped on, and the ones that are greyed out, obviously you're not going to go and deliver to, and so it could help people to mark out the route that they are going to take, actually when dropping off the items to people. Now depending whether you're walking or driving, again you could add, you could refine where you're actually clicking it to. But again, you can also refine the numbers of the houses and actually put that as a route, number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on. This could all be really kind of helpful data. It's up to you how you use it. It's down to what data you put into it. But to be able to take the information from the database and apply it to the map is really helpful. Okay, so here's me on my phone. I'm just going to go over to Google Maps. If we load up Google Maps here. Right, so what we're going to do is, to get to your map that you've just made on your computer, over here you'll see there's a little 3 lines at the top there. I'm going to go to your maps and then go over to maps, and then my Clean Easy customer base. Right, that's then take us to where we have now. This is just part of what I added in. Can actually see here that here's one of the routes that I've already added in. I'm going to look at going to, and if I go over here, you can see actually this is where I live. You can see that you've got the places of where your customers are, and there we go. Now, if I were to get to where the customer route was, it would actually show that on the map as well. And that allows you to then go around and directly get to where you need to go for your customer. Okay. Okay, so there you have it. That's what you get to see on the phone app. Hope you guys have found this information interesting. I hope there might be some way that you can utilize it and benefit your business. Thank you for staying to the end, and I hope you've enjoyed the information. Take care and keep working your clean, easy business.